Welcome to Radio Free Will, everybody. It's been a long time since we've done a podcast, and guess who's back? Michelle Mockers. Michelle,
Yes,
welcome.
welcome. Thank you, dear.
So, when we last left off, you had a real bad fall. That was around Thanksgiving.
I must excuse myself for not being here all those past months, but one night, I broke my head. Sometimes you say, oh, I break my head to find you something. No, I broke my head for real. In a staircase, a stone staircase at night, and the steps were not of the same dimension. So I and I broke my head. That is exactly 7 months ago.
To the
Everybody
day.
thought that I was dead for, I don't know, I forget completely, entirely for 20 days, my dear. I'm absolutely unable to remember anything for 20 days.
And how are you feeling now?
I feel very good. I talk to you again. I'm very pleased to talk to you again. You see that?
Couldn't have a show without you. And how was the recovery process? You're feeling good?
Well, when you are supposed to have lost all the senses, you are just a piece of wood. But everything came back slowly, and I cannot complain. I am almost, I should say almost normal. Almost.
Well,
Normal. Hey, don't forget my age. I'm not anymore 26, my dear. So at my age, it's a little eventually supposed to be, but no, it went very well. It went very well.
and when we've been talking, you're been doing a lot of thinking while you were in recovery, right?
Of course, I have nothing else to do but to think about what we are going to say today. So I should have plenty of things to say today. I came back to something that I don't know if you agree with it. We should start by the beginning.
Well, hold on. I wanted to, just before we got started, you were telling me about your experience with Facebook.
Yeah.
Since
My experience with Facebook was very short. I thought like I should be in Facebook, to be well known from everybody. It's one of the things that put you on the universal, knowledge. So, but they say you have to do something. Just show yourself that which one thing, but I wanted to do a little more thing. So I put two first sentences that they published.
what were the two sentences?
Oh, I don't remember. It was very no sense. I mean, no nothing that can be troubling anybody. I don't remember.
One was about women.
Yeah, one was about women. Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember that one. There are more women than men on Earth. And what about governments? Well, there are not more women in governments than men.
And they had a problem with that?
No, that they pass by. They pass by a second one where I say oil is something which is not, do not reproduce itself, and that we are consuming non-stop. But, as a good fathers talking about our children and grandchildren, we build automobile bigger than ever. So America has to spare the oil automobile bigger than ever. So they passed that one. Now the last one was more political. I don't remember exactly what it is. They didn't pass it. And the one after that, they didn't pass. So they control what they are passing by. Maybe they didn't pay attention about my whole story in the beginning, but the fourth story, which was much more political, I say the government is not democratic. So that did not pass.
So now they won't let you post any.
Oh no, nothing passed.
Boy, you were the quickest person censored, I think, in the history of Facebook. 3 days.
Oh yeah, 3 days, about 3 days. I was in Facebook for 3 days. And I didn't go after that. When they didn't publish what I put in, I didn't go again anymore.
Just in case people are curious, do you remember what the Facebook page, what is it? Michelle Mockers.
Michel Mockers, yeah.
So if folks are interested, they can at least see the first two.
The first
The
two,
first
and
two
my,
posts
and my face.
by
And my face, of course.
And-
the photograph.
and feel free to complain to Facebook. They should be letting you
No,
speak.
but I believe that Facebook is controlled. You know, I am not the only one that they suppress like that they don't want to publish.
Right.
I read, I don't remember where, you know, several times that Facebook do not publish everything. You know, it's not a public thing to which you can go. It's controlled.
Well, we're going to have to try to post these shows on Facebook too.
Yeah.
So maybe Anne, you can figure out how to do that, and who knows? We'll see if these goes through.
I should say that in America you don't have one radio or paper, whatever, who say whatever you want. You have that in Europe. You have, even, I'm French and I know some of the French, the Canard Enchaîné, things like that, who say absolutely everything they want to say. And nobody interdict that. I mean, they publish like that. But in America, you cannot publish anything at all. The freedom of expression and speech, excuse me, it's only in the mind of the guys when they write that thing. And I always say they write that thing with no consideration. They say the welfare of the people. They didn't give any recipe for the welfare of the people. The welfare of the people is not at all in question. And we have a constitution that and Jefferson said in the meantime, Jefferson said that the constitution should be rewritten by every generation. I have the letter of Jefferson. Rewritten by every generation according to its needs. It means that since, I don't remember the exact date, we had absolutely no new needs. So you have no new constitution. We have a constitution which is 300 years old. And no evolution, no nothing at all. We are still in the same. The constitution doesn't care about the people, just care about the government. How do you elected and how do you do and blah, 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 blah. But the welfare
Right.
of the people, forget it.
It seems to be written more like corporate bylaws than it does
Yeah.
for the welfare of the people.
Oh, not at all. There is not one word for the welfare of the people. Just in the beginning, the Constitution is made for the welfare of the people. But what is the welfare of the people?
I guess when everybody's happy, then we have the good welfare for the people.
Listen dear, if it is exactly like if the economic condition has not changed in 300 years. The people who write the Constitution, it was at the time of the first steam engine. They never, when they say the welfare of the people, they never imagine that few people with the money would buy the steam engine and build the factories, and around the factories some absolutely disgusting towns where the workers were packed in. And the workers were working, the first strike, my dear, incredible, the first strike for 18 hours a day of work, 6 days a week.
Wow.
So the writer of the Constitution absolutely ignored that, and that was, that started in England, that was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution created only one thing, Mr. Karl Marx. That's it, to fight against.
Well, a lot of shiny toys for people too.
Yeah, but if you want those who wrote the Constitution has no idea at all of any, I should say, economic. Don't forget there were people who still have slaves. Oh, come on, what are we talking about? The welfare of the people, welfare of whom?
Well, from what I've read, there's more slavery going on today than there was back at the time of the Constitution.
Yeah, but it was more visible at the time of the Constitution. They were in the field. Today they were, you don't know where.
Well, mostly in third world countries, but I'm sure it's in the United States too.
Of course. You know, there is one of the things that we will talk about, but not I didn't intend to talk about that today, but nobody no big leader today is talking about the fact that in 20 years or 30 years or 40 years from now, the population will go from 8 billion to 10 billion to maybe 12 billion. What will you do with all those people?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I had just watched a video by a guy who does a podcast, Crow House, and he says, "How do we know that there's actually 8 billion people?"
We don't know it.
Yeah, we don't know. We're just told that it's 8 billion and people take it as fact, but we don't know.
No, but
8 billion is a lot of people.
that's really possible. But so it's not true. It may be true. It's not true. It may be true. If it's only partially true, it doesn't be 8 billion, maybe 7 billion, 7.5, and then it goes more slowly than we say. But what will become of those people, my dear? At the time, beside that, what is very, very strange is that we are at the time of another industrial revolution, which is the artificial intelligence and robots. So
Right.
artificial intelligence and robots can do by themselves without you. So if you have the money, the big money, I mean the people with the big money, those who own the steam engine of the time, who will today own the artificial intelligence and the robots. Yeah. So we will depend entirely on those people, entirely. You will have no job, or a job would be, and so what is exactly the future? You never have a political man talking about that, a leader talking about that. Never. Listen to Mr. Trump. He never talk about that. He's blah blah thing, all what he wants. But oh, come on, I don't want to say anything.
Well,
but nobody. No, when you look at all the politicians, American politicians, no one is talking about the future. No one. Artificial intelligence, nobody talks about it.
no, because the political power structure can only think about 1 quarter in advance. How are we going to do in the next quarter, not the next generation down?
Yeah, but the next quarter is the next generation, my dear. When you will have people, just imagine, you had some movies like that, the things to come. Just imagine that as the Industrial Revolution, and the Industrial Revolution was a reality, it was a reality because of the steam engine. Today it's much more subtle, but you have a telephone that you can be followed step by step with your telephone. You depend on everything. Everything you can read, everything newspaper, it's all the government. Absolutely. So if a group of people owns the artificial intelligence, they will own all that. They will own the newspapers, they will own the movies, they will own absolutely everything, and they will tell you what they want to tell you. Exactly that.
And
Nothing
that's
else.
the way it seems to be going right now.
So you can become stupid, absolutely complete idiots, accepting everything.
Back to the 8 billion.
Yeah, that might be. You might be happier that way.
Yeah, you don't have to think.
You don't have to think.
So man is a non-thinking animal.
I can't
But
stop
the-
myself though.
The definition of man, of man. Today you don't say man because the ladies protest. The definition of the human being is precisely to be able to think. So the thing that the artificial intelligence, thing like that, they will think for you. And they will tell you what to think. Maybe not you because you had an education which is already too old, but if you are 6 years old today and you start to have that, you have your telephone at 6 years old, you have all the radio, you have the television, you have everything, you are completely in the hand of those guys.
Right, and now they're trying to take people's DNA and track them that way.
By any way, you are trackable absolutely everywhere. We went to Woodstock the other day. You take your telephone. The telephone follows the car to tell you the weather at that little thing that you just passed, that little town. Just follow exactly, and at the same say, stop. They know exactly if they want to know where you are.
So you can never get lost.
No, but it's the end of freedom, my dear.
Yeah,
It's the end of
it
freedom
is.
because what is very dangerous. Today you still can go in literature, in philosophy, or whatever. That will be off with kids. We will have absolutely no need for philosophy, literature, the past, all that. The world will start 10 years ago.
Let's divert for a second because there's
Yes,
been
good place to go.
stuff in the news lately. It looks like the United States is interested in going to war with Iran. Have you been following?
Of course, my dear. So it's why I would like to start by the beginning. Really start by the beginning today. What is the beginning? The beginning is 50,000 years ago.
Okay.
50,000 years ago, the first people who do something recognizable. They sculpted, they painted. You have those paintings in the walls of the caves, which the painters of the 19th century did not know how the horses were running. They run on their four horses legs like that, which is not true. They work like that. 50,000 years ago, they knew it. And when they painted it on the walls, they painted it right. And the painter of the 19th century painted it wrong. So, we start since that day, we have art. I wanted to place the art at the right place in the human life, And what is more important for a man? Forget the bread and water. What is after that in your life? Every second in your life, art. Because you choose your shirt, you choose your tie, you choose the color of your walls, you choose everything. Art is permanently in your art. But what has never been done so far is to define what is art and how it works. Because when you go from one generation to another generation, when you go from one civilization to another civilization, you find exactly the same thing. Not of course, the style is the style of the time, but it's exactly the same techniques of painting, the same techniques of grouping the people, exactly the same techniques of everything. That's the art. And the art they never give their philosophy, their way of doing. So that's what I did, and I will explain to you.
So you want to start with art first?
Iran.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about Iran. That's where the first, some of the first art
Yeah,
was ever
okay,
made
so
in
it was
Persia.
started like that. Because then when you look at the history, the written history of man, because we're talking 50,000 years, it's written on the wall of the caves. Now, written on paper, 5,000 years, 5,500 years, I written on paper. And when you read that, I have the complete book of that, year by year, what you see, 5,000 years of wars. That's it. 5,000 years of miseries. War here, war there, war there, war there. Men as humanity has never been able to live together. Never been. They're supposed to be intelligent, and they use their intelligence to fight each other, not to get together. And Iran is the following. Come on, my dear. At 20 years old or 20 years old, I was shot like a rabbit by the German. Like a rabbit.
Wasn't your anniversary
Yes,
just recently?
Talking to you, I can hear the bullets passing my ears. I absolutely don't understand why they didn't kill me. That's something I cannot understand. But since that, my dear, since my personal war, when I came in America, there is a war. There is always a war. Vietnam, blah, 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 all what you want. And now today it's Iraq. We find Iraq to find a war with. And tomorrow morning we will find something else. If Iraq is not enough, and we are in bad terms with the Chinese. Why are we in bad terms with the Chinese? Why did we go to China, my dear? Just for one reason, money.
Yeah.
So now we are going to pay for our money. But hey, who cares? Who tells those people don't go to stay in America? We will. But nobody wants to pay the price for the shirt. So it is cheaper. My shirts are made in China. Why is that made in China, not made in America? Because it's way cheaper in China than in America. With those big tankers, you can transport today a whole factory at once, so it's not expensive. The transport is not expensive, which it was in the past. So today, everything I look at, it's made in China. And we are now complaining. Of course we are complaining. But why did we go to China? It's the illogic of everything is incredible. The illogic of man is incredible. Once more, man is the only intelligent, supposedly intelligent animal on earth. And when you look at the written history, it's 5,000 years of war. That's it, war. With all those leaders. I don't want to go into that because that's something else.
Do you ever see it changing?
No, you know the fact the leaders, the leaders come from. China today is in the Middle Ages for me, because in the beginning of the Middle Ages, when you had a group of people, they could not act as a group, so they choose one person to act in their name and to keep order in their name, and it became the king. And the king was elected, finally the king was elected for life, and the children of the kid, and it's always the same family that goes on and goes on. In 1914, the whole Europe was the same family, but they fought against each other. Huh? It was the same family. So, why do I say that, by the way? I don't even remember why I said it already. I'm losing myself, so it's why I fall on my head.
Oh, while China, but in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, in the Middle Ages. Okay, so China. Shall I talk about China?
You have been.
Yeah, I can talk about China. I can talk about the United States after that, which is something different, but not better in some ways.
No, it seems like human beings are certainly in the economic system that we tend to want to chew our leg off. We're only thinking the short term. Like an animal stuck in a trap, we chew our leg off, boom, we run away, but we don't recognize the problems that are taking place down the road. So corporations will move over to China for cheap labor. Everybody gets laid off in the U.S. Nobody can afford to buy stuff, and then the same thing will happen in China. They'll move to India, Vietnam, or some other place.
Yeah,
Just
it's where
the pursuit of.
It's where the humanity, if you want, instead of being one species living together, it could be one species. No, it's pieces fighting each other.
So
it's
we're
exactly
still in
that.
a tribal mindset.
Oh, no, absolutely, my dear. We are still. So the group, we cannot act as a group, pick up one person to take to dirige the group. And it's the beginning of the king. And today, when you see in China that they have no more brains, because that is the techniques of Karl Marx and Engels. The man doesn't live with his mind; he lives with the way he is living. That's the way he is living, which is driving him, not his mind. The way he is living. So the way he's living, you follow with a whole population with supposedly no mind, the population of the Middle Ages, to have some rules and they choose one man to dirige them. So in China today, I don't remember his name, the first one was elected for life, like a king, my dear, elected for life, a Marxist elected for life like a king. So this is what did happen. But that happens in China like that. In the US, the US is not a democracy. You call it a democracy? You want me to go against the
Certainly
democracy?
not an economic democracy, that's for sure. And the votes don't ever seem to count.
My dear, we are not a democracy for several reasons. To have a real democracy, every future citizen should be developed. Because if you want, a democracy is a moral concept. And to develop a moral concept, you have to be able to develop a moral concept, means that you have the education to do that. Means that every kid in the US should have an education developing in. Is that true? It's not true.
It's not
and
true.
beside that,
No, we throw away kids.
okay, and we are obliged to pay for the education. If you want to become a citizen, you have to pay to become a citizen. That's a complete undemocratic. So that is undemocratic. The second undemocratic is the way it goes with the two-party system who govern the country. When the elections are coming, only the two-party system will have the TV, the blah, 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 the blah, 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 and will be voted for. The rest does not exist. The rest does not exist. In a real democracy, the rest, even if the rest is unable to do anything, the rest should be represented. That is real democracy. The rest is some kind of, I don't want to say, but how would you call that? Well, it's the two-party system monopolize the political system, and that is not democratic at all.
Well, in theory, it seems like it could work, right? It seems like it could work because they're supposed to, the elected officials are supposed to represent the public. But they don't ever seem to. They seem to be bought off by the wealthy.
Plus,
Corporations.
who vote? How many votes? How many people vote? How many people don't want to vote in the US? Half of the people do not vote. So you call that democracy?
They might be smarter than the other people. They might
don't
know
want-
that the
they-
game is rigged.
Because they have nothing else to vote than the Republican or the Democrat. And that is anti-democratic, my dear. America is not a democracy.
Yeah, there are a couple of candidates that I'm keeping my eye out in the Democratic primary, but I tend to agree with you. Certainly during the 2016 election, the whole thing was rigged. The person who seemed to get the most votes ended up losing. And in the general election, the person with the most votes lost. That seems to have happened a great deal since World War II in the United States. Not that I think there was much difference between Mr. Trump and Mrs. Hillary, but in the Democratic primary, there do seem to be a couple of people worth keeping an eye out for, and hopefully they'll do well.
Yeah, but they can do absolutely nothing.
No, but they're bringing up issues, a lot of issues that you seem to be bringing up. Marianne Williamson, she's campaigning on a thing just like you said about how people need to be developed into citizens. That's her campaign. Tulsi Gabbard is totally against war, and she seems to be very serious about that, and hopefully she'll get a platform to speak out.
Yeah, she will speak out, but she will eventually be not elected.
No, but if she can
Or
plant,
even if she's elected,
if
she'll
she
be
can-
lost after that.
if she can plant the seed into people's minds,
We can.
that's
We are
well.
planting the seeds in the people's mind, my dear. Talking as we are talking right now.
Right.
We are not to be elected, but I repeat myself. When you look, even the future election, when you look at the way the elections are driven, are made in this country, they are not democratic.
no,
Not
they don't.
democratic at all. And I'm sorry to say that, question of money. How can you have a democratic, a government which really represents the people when you have some company that makes incredible gift for election? That is already undemocratic.
So, what I'm hearing is that you're saying it's all an illusion.
Yeah.
The whole. So, how do you wake people up from that illusion?
My dear, that's the problem of American. It's not because I am American, made American, if you want, with all the past, literary philosophy, to everything you want. but it's because there is not that education. The Americans are not educated. They are not educated. You have kids who do not even go to school. They don't even have pencil in school. How can you imagine that?
Well, who's going to educate them?
My dear, when you...
Do you want that government to educate them?
How come that some other country, I took with France for example, it's free to be educated? How do they do that? How do they do that?
Through tax dollars. Everybody pays.
Everybody pay? Well, so what?
So
You don't pay more taxes in France than here.
even for like advanced education,
No, it's free. Absolutely free.
you want to be a
University,
doctor,
Free.
and do you have to commit to service or something
Nope.
like that after?
Nope. That comes automatically. You are automatically in something. But you have countries, I believe that with country north, it's exactly the same thing. The education is free. If you want to have able citizens able to think about what they are doing when they are voting and all that, they have to know what they are doing. Here, they don't know what they are doing. Very few people know what they are doing, those who profit of the thing. That's it.
Well, Bernie
I'm so-
Sanders, who's running in the primary, that's one of his platform issues is free education for everybody.
Yeah, because he said that he's a socialist.
Yeah,
Yeah, socialist is the...
and why so?
Because socialists don't have a philosophy. You have no socialist philosophy, my dear. You have a communist philosophy. Very strict, very wrong, but very logical as it wrongs. It cannot work, and it will not work, and it doesn't work in Asia. And it will not work. The future will be terrible in Asia if they react. And we have no here the richest country in the world. Hey, God knows how much we say that we are the richest country in the world. We are the richest country in the world. We cannot educate our children. The richest country. So you tell me what you want. That's I want to say.
And
I don't want to say the word.
why is it? Because we're spending all that money on the military, right? How many tanks do we got? How many battleships?
For what?
How many missiles?
For what? The budget is 54 or 56%. The budget of the country. 50. Can you imagine? There is more money for the army for what? To go to a war against Iran because Mr. Trump could say, hey, guys, I'm the strongest. Huh? With a big mouth like that, I'm the strongest. Come on.
If 56% of the budget of the wealthiest country that's ever been on the planet.
Yeah, we spend more money than all the other countries.
It's outrageous, and people need to.
All the other countries together spend no more money than we spend alone. And you can accept that?
I think China has one base outside of China.
Something like that, yeah. But you know, so
Russia has what?
so-
One base, two bases
So
outside of Russia.
what are we exactly talking about? What are we talking about?
I saw this YouTube video, and I forget who it is, and I don't even know if these facts are correct, but they said, you know how many wars the United States are in right now? 80. 80 wars.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's amazing.
We want to impose our way of seeing to the rest of the world because we have the money to do it, we have the power to do it, so we are the big. Look at Mr. Trump, he's the big representing the US. When you look at the presidents of the US since the beginning, there is some kind of a declination of the quality, the intellectual quality of Mr. Trump has no intellectual qualities.
Well, then we got to figure out a way how people can break free,
You know,
break disillusion, break free, and at least become critical thinkers.
You know, in the Constitution, you cannot be president if you're not born in America.
Okay, so you can't be president.
So you know who was the first president born in America?
If I had to guess, it probably would have been
What should I put?
Adams.
I forget his name. No, the seventh president.
Jackson.
Huh?
Hamilton, Jackson.
Yeah, was the seventh presidents of the U.S. was born in America. So come on, everything is like that. Go on, go on.
Well, it was a young country. They might not have been born in the United States, but they might have been born in
Why did they-
Virginia at
so-
the time before it was the United
So why do
States.
they say that then, if they cannot do it?
Because it was written by lawyers.
They were all lawyers, more or less lawyers,
So
owners of
if you ask lawyers
of
to write the
states.
Constitution, they're going to write laws,
yeah.
right? You ask
So
farmers,
that's
they're
very
going to
nice.
concentrate
You cannot
on
be
farms.
president if you're not born. The first president born was the seventh president. All the
And-
others were born outside.
And there might have been some that were born outside of the United States. We don't know. Who knows?
But all that, my dear, to tell you that, okay, the election, you have a woman who will talk about this, a woman who will talk about that, a guy who will talk about this, but there is no basic philosophy. And, my dear.
But you're not telling people to give up.
No,
Are
no,
you?
no, 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 that's not the problem. No, 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 no. My personal problem, if you want, and I talk about the arts, because the arts are the only thing which are in your life since the beginning of humanity and every minute of your life. But nobody so far has made a philosophy of the arts. How do you create arts? Nobody, you create arts, but nobody explain how it is here that you create arts. And it's why I wrote something that I call the positive dialectic of the arts, the dialogue between the elements that compose a piece of art. And this is, if you can compose a piece of art, you can compose a government, it's exactly the same thing. You can compose everything. It's a positive philosophy for the very, very first time since the beginning of humanity. America is not nobody is not philosophical. America is not at all. If it were, it would be a little more democratic. They would know what is democracy. They don't know what is democracy, and they publish that they are democratic. And the rest, the Russian, China is the communism, integral communism, which is wrong by itself. That's it. We don't talk about religion. We just talk about politics. So nobody, I should say, nobody so far has a philosophy that stands, a positive philosophy, not the United States. United States, the philosophy of the United States, to have freedom inside of a government, of a country, you have to have laws that allow you to do this, to do that. You have to go inside those laws. That is to be free inside of society. Now, the same society, how do that society make money? With the free enterprise. And free enterprise is exactly the reverse. You can kill, I mean, not kill with a gun, but you can kill the competition. You can put everything in the street because this is killing. Here, you have to be following all the laws. Here, it's the reverse. You can kill. Here you cannot kill, here you can kill. And that's the United States. And you call that philosophy?
All right. You know something, Michel? Time has flown by very, very fast. So I don't think we're going to have time to get into the philosophy of the arts.
No, we
So
don't have time.
we want to ask people to join us next week and you're going to start to explain the philosophy of the
What is
arts.
the philosophy of the art? And how the philosophy of the art is politically, it's a philosophy. You can apply it to create a piece of art or to create a society. The only thing is, if I can say in one word, let's say I am a painter, so I make a painting. So my philosophy goes inside my painting, but does not allow people to paint on the wall upstairs of the painting or to paint under, people too rich or people too poor. It's
All
a
right.
balanced society.
So you're going to bring the documents for people to take
Yeah.
a look at
Yeah,
on our next episode.
yeah.
Okay. So you can see, folks, that Michel is got quite a bit of energy, and he seems to have recovered very good. And he seems to have been doing a lot of thinking while he was
26
in
years old.
recovery. So I want to thank everybody for joining us on Radio Free Will. And join us next week. Please subscribe to the show and check out Michel's website. You have a website
yeah,
now?
Website, yeah, Michel Moker's website. And we are, no, the website is No Pennies. No Pennies.
NoPennies.com?
No, dash pennies.
No dash pennies.
That's the philosophy is explained. The whole philosophy is explained on that.
All right, so everybody, you got your homework to do for next week. Check out the website.
To see my portrait is
Michel Mockers on Facebook.
yeah, that's my portrait.
And thank you for listening.